Welcome everyone to Rawbellious podcast. We're going to just introduce ourselves. So I'm Sophie and
I am Anna.
welcome. So we just wanted to do this first episode just so you get to know a bit about us, because obviously we've just started posting things on Instagram and we thought it would be a good idea you get to know us a bit first. So we'll start off with me asking Anna a few questions. So Anna, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, why you love Raw, sort of your background with it?
Obviously, I've always been interested in animals, and somehow I ended up with Bolt after a failed adoption at Battersea, and we took him home. We had a load of chubs, and we had a link actually to eBay where we could get these chubs.
Do you remember what brand it was? Was it like any sort of brand?
No brand at all. It was literally off the back of a lorry.
Oh, lovely.
And yeah, it kind of, it didn't ring right. And I was looking online and all these people were, it just didn't ring right or ring true. So I approached a pet shop, which is no longer there. And I ended up in a worse situation than to begin with. We ended up feeding him 200 grams of grated carrot on their advice, along with a little bit of chicken. At that point, we've been able to drop the kibble.
Thinking around the carrot? Did they give a reason?
I have no idea. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it honestly, it was horrific. From that point, I delved into the world of rescue, something I'm very, very passionate about. And I found Yaz from Pepper Loves Dogs.
Yeah.
And I met her through rescue. And at the time, she was actually, I think it was Confessions of a Raw Fed Dog Mum.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I fell head over heels in love with Raw, but correctly. And I literally just threw myself down a rabbit hole, and I haven't come up since.
Yeah.
I have her to thank for a lot of my knowledge. I've just done course after course, just on the path.
You just get the bug.
Try and better, just to better what I'm feeding him. It was so horrifically wrong, and like I say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But that's how we got started in the world of Raw.
Oh, it's weird. As soon as your eyes are opened, you just can't stop.
That's it.
Yeah,
that is it.
It's not. It's like, well, we had a dog, and he died in 2020, and he ultimately, we think, and the vet thinks, it was a burst tumour in his stomach. We don't know, but we kind of all guessed it. Either that or a stomach ulcer that ruptured. But I looked into Raw when we had him, but it was so scary just reading everything about it. It was, and to be honest as well, we weren't in the right frame of mind because we'd fed him kibble for so long, and then I saw how much Raw was. Like, I remember looking at pre-mates thinking, are these people nuts? Like, I was paying like £20 a month for a bag of kibble, and I just couldn't believe what people were paying. But I kind of started to add bits to his food. But as soon as that happened with him, I mean, he was on kibble every day, and he lived off Dentastix. He loved them, and like things like Bonios, nothing. Carrots. Oh my god, the amount of carrots that dog ate. And I used to smell his ears and think, oh, they smell lovely, they smell so malty. And I wonder why. He was just some yeasty beast and I didn't realise.
Oh, bless him.
So that made me, and he was on Loxicon long term because of his arthritis, and it just made me think there must be something in this, like something's happened to him. And then sort of have an experience with people with sled dogs, we made the absolutely insane decision to get them. But I started researching diet and sled dogs, reading about them and how they thrive on raw. So I thought, right, I'm going to do this properly. So I started delving into it, and same as you, it just completely spiraled once I started looking into it. That was it. And obviously you don't know what to do at first. I joined a few groups with massively conflicting information.
Massively.
It's so conflicting. But then obviously we settled on a group, and it was amazing, and it helped so much. But then I just got the bug myself and started to do my own research, and I think it's important to realise, even when you're in a group, doing your own research about your own dogs, your own breed of dogs. You live with your dog every day.
Absolutely.
Finding out what's best for them. But yeah, now I'm on this, same as you, doing courses, getting diplomas. It's just now a lifelong passion. And now I want to just concentrate on looking into huskies especially, and their special dietary needs, and they're so unique. It's just,
they are.
Yeah, and obviously I've got Snow with zinc deficiency at the moment, which is very common with them. So I'm just hoping I can delve into it and just be like the person who finds out why these things happen. It won't happen, but it would be nice.
It will. Believe in yourself. It will.
Yeah.
It will.
It's.
I know. Yeah. I think, honestly, especially you touched upon like the whole point of conflicting advice. Everybody has an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think you know your dog better than anyone. Not to say that, dogs thrive on kibble. They do survive to an extent, but it's not for everyone. But at the same time, I do feel, when you go from one Facebook group to another, or even a website to another, the conflicting advice is so confusing, and it actually leaves you paranoid, worried.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I've spent many a night sitting worried that what I'm doing is wrong.
Yep.
Because Sue from Stoke-on-Trent, for example, has told me that I'm killing my dog by doing this, that, and the other, and I've got someone else advocating for what I'm doing. Yeah. It's just, it's
a minefield.
Absolute minefield.
It's a minefield, and I mean, look, I've just been recently, like, all my studying, all my knowledge, and then I had a dog most of last year that was diagnosed with anorexia, which was absolutely horrific. And I think you talk to people online and you tell them how your dog's not eating, and everyone's like, well, just do this, just do that. Absolutely nothing was working. And I worked with our vet, who's really good, really supportive of Raw. She knows my background, and she completely respects that I know about nutrition. And she just turned around and said to me, stop panicking. We need to just get him to eat. And that was like a wake-up call, because I think I had swallowed my pride a little bit. And actually I was like, I'm making this all about me, and me worrying about him, and me worrying that I'm not going to feed him the diet that I want to feed him. And I just had to get in his mouth whatever he was going to eat. So we did have to switch to kibble. And he didn't eat that either, but it was the most consistent of what he would eat. So I just had to suck it up. And just gave him it. And I don't know what happened, but literally one morning he sniffed the air when I was giving Indian Snow their breakfast. And I thought, I'll just try a little bit on a fork of the raw. And he just ate it, put it down, and that was it. He's never looked back.
See, that's amazing.
He went from 39 kilos to nearly 33 kilos in 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was alarming, and he looked ridiculous. I mean, I put pictures up of the difference on my Instagram, and it was just unbelievable. But now I've had to stop and lower his amount, which I never thought I'd get to. But yeah, it was just, things like that make you go, do you know what? Just stop stressing. Just why?
Oh,
Why are you
100%.
panicking? Just obviously, it was about survival, and now he's thriving because now he's having
Yeah.
raw again, and I can add all the things in. But I think people need to give themselves a break. 100%.
Oh, massively. I mean, I've had similar issues, obviously not the anorexia, but I mean, bulk, for example, you know, we hear so much, and I have actually been bashed online, you know, even down to balancing over time. For us, balancing over time is, I used to think it was this wonderful thing. However, it's not suitable for Bolt.
No.
Bolt is a dog that won't eat 3 to 4 days a week. And that, I mean, you've seen it yourself, his weight plummeted, you know, his skin's affected, you know, it has a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
And what's good for one isn't good for another. And I personally am so fed up with the community, you know, just bashing and having an opinion and thinking, you know, that you haven't thought of these things, you haven't sought advice. And I mean, I'm sure I was one of the, you know, those people at one point.
Oh yeah, we've all been that person.
Oh yeah. I think it's, I say this over and over again, but everybody is on a journey, and we're not all at the same point of the journey. I see it frequently, you know, at work in the shop. For those of you that don't know, I actually work in canine nutrition. It's my bread and butter. I actually work within the raw, you know, the pet food industry.
Yeah.
And some of the things that I see, you know, with the humans coming in and stressing about fussy eating, stressing about this, stressing about that, 90% of the time, I can assure you now, it's the human with the problem and not actually the dog as well.
Yeah.
It's,
well, that's
you know,
kind of what I've said to you before. We won't mention what it was about, but because
no.
me and Anna have very different opinions on certain things, and it's fine because we respect each other. We can debate things out and have an opinion, and it's fine.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got a different opinion. But it's like what I was saying to you about the placebo effect. A lot of the time, a lot of the time, things aren't actually going to work necessarily. It's about us chilling out. And as soon as we chill out, the dog chills out. And then we think something's worked, but it hasn't. It's just because we've calmed down. Now the dog's calmed down. So they're just doing what they're meant to do.
Exactly.
It's hard.
I had this discussion earlier on with someone else, and it was essentially about the stress within the household and how that affects your animals too. And it's, I think, unfortunately, people don't understand the whole of, you know, when we talk about holistic, we are talking about absolutely everything. And coming from, sorry, I've jumped a bit there, but just a holistic approach, it's talking about everything, no one thing. So say for fussy eating, for example, you know, you're looking at the environment, you're looking at the stress, you're also looking at the food. But I think the community in general are so stuck on just raw food and the food they're eating, and that's it. And, you know, and the fact that turmeric's going to cure arthritis, and it's just so skewed. I think it's become such a toxic environment. It's really a sad time.
It's like when people say a healthy dog will never starve itself. Well, Nico
I used to say that.
Yeah, I know, but Nico was absolutely 100% healthy. We went through tests, we went through everything. Ultimately, it was Indy's 3 now. She's only ever had 2 seasons. I think her hormones are all over the place. We're absolutely, because as soon as Indy came out of her last season, that's when he started eating again. And I think it was the build up for months of this happening. Yeah. Also, I was stressed because I had a dog who looked like he was dying in front of me. And I think as soon as her hormones calmed down and I relaxed, because she wasn't in season anymore as well, he just started eating again. So it's a massive environmental thing. It's huge.
Yeah. And I think people forget that, they really, really do. And it's, do you know, it's such an important thing to try and remind people of, because I feel that people would calm down. They really would. And then that would help everything. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I do. I struggle so much with a lot of what's said online, and
yeah, it's very conflicting. Like another example, I will not mention names, but we had somebody message us with something I shared today, saying, I didn't think dogs could have that. I see things in groups that say they can't. And I actually ended up just sending them a voice note because it was a lot easier, just saying, dogs can't have that. There's different types of that, which are the lesser problem. Everything in moderation, you know, like different parts of the body are different as well. Like, just because they can't have something, it doesn't mean they can't have that part of the body. It was something I shared that had this thing in the video, but it wasn't actually that product I was talking about. But I was like, I personally probably would have avoided it, but I was like, you know, like, oh my God, the amount of times I've like given a dog a piece of ham or something to take a pill, like, it's not ideal, and it's not something you want to give every day. It's like sometimes when I'm at work or Nico still has a fussy day, we mix a bit of tinned food, high quality tinned food, in with his raw to get him to eat still. And it's absolutely fine. It's just the way it is. And I've given myself a break over it. And I think that's what everyone needs to do. And it's hard. It's so conflicting. And the problem, it's not a problem, because Facebook groups are really, really helpful. Really helpful. The problem is they obviously have to cater for so many people. So everything has to be very streamlined and quite a narrow road. And obviously, I would say there's probably 2 that do it well. We've been part of them and they do it well. But again, that it's and you have to be on top of things, and they are in those groups. But I think people don't realise that there's a bigger world out there sometimes. That's not the group's fault. That's just people just get quite regimented in their raw feeding, I think. Because, you know, this is the way I've been taught. This is the way I have to do it. Anything out of that box stresses me out. Why are you doing this when I've been told you can't do that? It's and it can be really stressful at first. So I get why people just go, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going to throw kibble in the bowl.
I don't blame them. No, I really don't.
But it's not that complicated. It's not. It's really not.
It's not. But then I do feel that, I mean, some of the groups, for example, and also pages as well, you know, internet pages, it's generic advice. And especially when you're dealing with a dog, you know, like such as Nico, or you've got Bolt, and you've got, I mean, I fresh feed, so I cook food for Luna at the moment because we're trying to heal her gut. You know, that there's no one size fits all. And I think when it's a side job and you're not working on it continuously, you're not seeing that dog in person, it's really difficult to gauge what's actually going on. It's like we see lots of different dogs in the shop. We get to see their progress weekly. We get to weigh them. We're looking at body condition. And that's something that unfortunately the internet cannot judge on. And I feel that some of that advice is just, it's as amazing as it is, and it, you know, they mean so well. There are some instances where, you know, it just, there needs to be kind of a warning and state, this is, you know, this is generic advice. If you know,
I think there needs to be, and this isn't any groups in particular at all, because we've been part of really good groups.
Oh, that's fabulous. Yeah.
I think that there needs to be more of an understanding for people joining groups about that. And that's where the communication's difficult, because it is a bit of a labour of love, raw. And I think you do have to have a love for it to, obviously everyone loves their dog who has a dog, but a lot of people have a dog and think, I just open food and give it to them. I think you're a different type of person when you want to go down the route of really discovering about why you need to feed the right things, and then taking that time every day. With my 3 dogs, half the time I do a bit of DIY now and again, but mainly they're 80-10-10 and me adding in fresh to it. it takes me like half an hour in the morning to do their food. People
I
don't want to do that,
know.
and I completely get
No.
that. Because sometimes, like tomorrow, for example, I've got to leave here at 7 in the morning. I'm gonna have to get up at 5:30 just so I can have the half an hour
To
before
make
I
sure
need
it's
to get
already,
myself
yeah.
sorted. Just to do the dog stuff. It's a lot.
I know, I know. I mean, do you know what? I take my hat off to all of these people who stand there on a Sunday and they meal prep for the week. Like we've got, like a really good friend of ours, and you see her do it every single week,
Rowena.
and and I am just like, I'm in absolute
Yeah,
awe.
me
I
too.
honestly am.
Me too.
I would love to be able to have that kind of dedication. The most I do is I think I have to batch cook Luna's food. So I think that's about as far as I care.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I do take my hands. Well, yeah, not my hands, my hat off to them.
yeah, no, I do too. I wish I'd love to just completely DIY, but it just doesn't fit into my life full time, and that's fine.
No,
And I'm happy with that. Um,
yeah,
it would be really nice. I like the aspect that you get to choose what you're adding, so you know 100% what's in it.
yeah,
That's why I'm just quite selective with my brands, and I'll always use a really low cost like baseline, and then I add in the higher end brands that I know are really nice, ethical, good quality.
yeah,
I'm not saying the lower cost brand isn't good quality, but cheaper cuts of meat go into lower cost brands. That's why it's cheaper. It's just
yeah,
the
yeah.
maths of it. But yeah, it's a lot. It can be a lot,
No, I
and
know.
I get why people get confused. But as I think for people starting out, raw groups are really really good just to get your feet on the ground with it. But I do think you need
Yeah.
to also do your own research,
Oh,
approach. If you're
massively.
really having problems, you need to approach a nutritionist or somebody who you think could help you.
Yeah, 100%. And with the nutritionist, I mean, you've got to make sure A, they're insured. B, a massive red flag of mine when it comes to nutritionists are if you do have a dog with a condition in particular and they do not ask a vet's permission to work with the dog, for me, that is a massive red
Yeah,
flag.
yeah,
Um, it is so very important. And if you're working with a nutritionist, and they advise you to do something against the vets, um,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
just
a
run for the hills.
no-no.
Run for the hills.
Yeah, because and I think
Yeah, we've all heard of many.
yeah, I think that as well is it's getting better, but there was a time
Mm,
where a lot of vets were getting slammed, um,
yeah,
and I think that's gotten better. In my eyes, it has. But vets aren't the enemy. They're basically
no,
you got to look
no,
at it like they're a lot of them are like an animal GP. Some of them study, then they go into practice, and that's that. And then you get
mm,
some really amazing ones who go, "Oh, I'm actually really interested in that. I'm going to carry on learning about it." And that might be
yeah,
nutrition, it might be something else. But they're not there to be the enemy. And I think a lot of the time, especially on the holistic side of things, um,
yeah.
it has been the case, um, that's kind of sort of spread around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think
I,
that's
I
the case anymore.
yeah, I think one thing that we have to teach the community, and it is not spoken about enough, we need to teach the community how to advocate for our dog. We've got 15 minutes to go in there,
Yeah,
show them a dog that, they've never met before or have had very little dealing with. We've got that time to explain to them everything, and it's all guesswork really in the beginning. If you know that you're going to go to the vets, you've got a booked an appointment, we're not talking about an emergency, you need to be keeping a diary going in there, like with as much information as possible. And I think we also have to remember we don't always have to, unless it's life saving, um, medication, we don't have to take that medication. We can go away, we can think, we can
yeah.
seek a second opinion. We
Hmm.
do not need to bash vets. Vets do not go to school for years and years and years, end up in huge amounts of debt
Yeah.
to look after your pet and be abused. It's as simple as that. They do not. And
No.
I'm actually really fed up with the communities, in particular the holistic community, who go on at them over it. It's really not on.
I think yeah, it's the other minefield is a lot of the side that we're in, like medications pop up and you get told don't give your dog these medications, but no one actually gives
Yeah.
you an alternative, like a
Yeah.
medical, like, because arthritis is a big one.
Yes.
You know, there's injections for arthritis. That's particularly one that goes around at the moment. Don't give it to your dog. Don't give it to your dog. And it's like, okay, well then what do I do? What's the alternative? But no one actually says it, because no
There's
amount of
nothing,
golden
no.
paste is going to help alleviate
Oh
that
my gosh,
pain.
no.
No. And I think people, yes, you can say don't give that, but you need to say do this instead, or ask about this instead, because again,
Yeah,
it just
absolutely.
scares people and puts them off the sort of more holistic side of things.
Yeah, I think people forget as well, in the holistic community, it's not, you're not supposed to be against conventional medicine. You're about supporting,
Yeah.
you know, and like you were saying, no amount of golden paste is going to change that, or, you know, cod liver oil, whatever you want to give your dog. And I speak as a human with arthritis. It is absolutely painful,
Yeah.
and literally, sorry, I can see a cat in the
Oh,
background.
nice. I'm gonna let her out. Hang on. She's like, let me out this goddamn room. Crazy lady.
Sorry, it really scared me. Sorry. I could see your chair moving at first, and I'm thinking there's nothing in there. Yeah, no, but on a serious note, I just think, you know, you as a human wouldn't want to be in pain, and you know that XYZ supplement isn't going to, you know, cut it for yourself. Why would you want to put your dog through that? Because you want your dog to lead you know, a holistic and healthy lifestyle. I don't think drugs are the enemy at all either. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed and changed.
So
it really does.
this is kind of good leading on to, sorry, we've done a lot of moaning. Don't mean to moan. It's just like we've got things we want to get off our chests. But this kind of leads into a little bit about the whole Rawbellious thing, in the reason, one of the reasons we picked that as a name is because, yes, we're being rebellious against, no, we don't want to feed kibble. We don't want all these conventional things that you're just putting on us just because they're there. But also, we kind of feel a bit like that sometimes about the holistic world, and all the pressure that's put on to be this perfect pet owner. And, you know, if you're not doing one thing right, then you're doing everything else wrong. And it's not everyone, but it is out there, unfortunately. You know, somebody as well, we know, she's amazing, and she's done everything for her dog. Absolutely everything. And I feel like she's had to go down a route that she didn't want to go down, and she's been made to sort of feel the pressure that she's picked the not a good decision, and it's really sad. It shouldn't be like that. Really, so we're rebelling against both things. Just be
absolutely
do what you need to do. That's why we're really advocating, even if you're feeding kibble, like, and we hopefully gonna like be able to show people how to improve bowls of kibble, and it's absolutely fine if that's all you can do, as long as you're putting some fresh on it and making it a better bowl, then that's you're doing the best you can.
Absolutely. I think there's far too much pressure on pet parents. I mean, raw feeding, for a start, if anybody tells you that it's cheap, they're absolutely wrong and deluded.
It's not.
And that, I'm not saying that disrespectfully. It just, by the time that you end up balancing out your bowl and adding any supplements, you know, I mean, you don't always have to supplement, but for a dog, for example, with issues, and you do have to add those in, it ends up costing a hell of a lot more than what you would be paying. Now, granted, there are some really expensive kibbles there that are not as great as they claim, but raw is expensive. And I think if you are on a low income in particular, which you'll
Yeah.
see a lot in the shop, you see so many people going without
Yeah.
just to be able to provide for their dogs. And it's really sad, because it's, like, are you going out tonight? Or, no, I can't afford it because I need to do this. Or, you see them in week after week, and, the same. And it's sad that they feel that they have to be that way, because a lot of it is pressure from the community.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take care of yourself as well as your animal, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you know, you can't take care of your animal.
No, that's
That there's other
true.
impacts,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then
It's like
that
you were
goes what
talking
we've
about
said about like stress and the environment
interconnectedness.
that the
Yeah,
dog's in, and it's yeah, it's a lot.
it
It
is.
costs me an absolute fortune to feed my free, and that's my decision, and I love it. But yeah, there's some months where we've felt the pain of it, definitely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change it at all. But I think people just have to stop turning their nose up at
Mm,
just stop turning their nose up at things that aren't 100% what you expect to see.
yeah.
Because it's a shame. We don't want to put people off feeding fresh. That's the thing.
No.
And I think, I don't know, if it was me and I was a kibble feeder and I was trying to come into the raw world, and some of the things I see as a raw feeder, I'd be put off and think, actually, I don't want to do that because you're being so negative about what I do already.
Yeah, it
Go
does
away.
put people off. Yeah, it does. And that's another thing as well. I see a lot of people, absolutely digging other people out. They're at the beginning of their journey, and you hear people, oh my God, you're feeding that kibble, it's going to kill your dog, this, that, and the other. They instantly, the person feeding the kibble, in my eyes, instantly shuts off,
Yeah.
because you know they're kind of thinking, well, A, it's toxic, B, you know you've just insulted me, I'm trying my best, and I don't like that. I really, really don't. I see it a lot. It's all about planting a seed and watching that grow.
Yeah.
um, you know, it's just, yeah,
I know. Well,
I
we've
do honestly.
experienced it, even people that we've helped, hundreds of people between us.
Oh yeah,
And sometimes they get so down about it, and actually you just have to sort of uplift them and go, just forget about everything. Even like some
yeah,
people need to strip it back sometimes, I feel like, and they're like, oh, I've got to add this, I've got to add that, and it's like, no, just start feeding an 80-10-10, even if you feel like
yeah.
that's all you can cope with at first. Add in some fresh veg and just do that for a couple of weeks and
Go
see
from
how it
there.
goes.
Yeah.
Like, I think people get overwhelmed with all the supplements you're meant to add in, and
Yeah.
it's
And
just
even some of those, I don't think. I mean, you to me are the supplement queen. You
me.
know what you're on about.
Oh
So
God,
it's like you understand the absorption. You can't take this with this and that time. And a
yeah,
lot of people don't
they
understand that,
don't.
and they literally are wasting their
Shall
money
I tell
on
you
products that other
why
people.
I feel like my I've got a good relationship now with supplements and things to add in? Is because I was just at one point, before I really did my research, I feel like I was just throwing in what I saw other people using.
Yes.
And I was just seeing everyone I knew sprinkling the same green or yellow powder on their dog's food.
Yeah.
Didn't know why I was putting, well, I did know why I was putting it on there, because I knew it had all these vitamins and minerals in it. And now I've stripped it back after doing my own research the last few years. And my dogs have no powder. Like, if they have a powder, it's like a tree bark powder, or it might be something else. They
Yeah.
just, mainly, I try and give them fresh things.
Yeah.
And actually, well, Indian Nico have a lot of complete, like really good high quality completes, and then I add my own bits and pieces into it, or I do. Balance over time is an amazing thing. I try and give them what I would consider a kind of complete diet every day, but
Yeah.
every day looks different. Every day is a different. So yes, I suppose it is balance over time, but I want every day to feel like a complete day, but just different completes. But it's so difficult, especially when you've got multiple dogs, trying to fit all their needs in. So I tend to do generic things that I know they're all going to benefit from, but then I'll add each's like individual thing. And I think people need to also understand that don't worry if you've got a dog that you're looking at going, well, I don't know that dog's needs. I don't understand that, because I've got one of those, like Indy. She has no standout needs at all that are obvious. So she just kind of gets a bit of what everyone has and things that I know are good. It's actually easier when you've got a problematic dog, I think, because you're like, oh, they need this, they can't have this. And then I've got one that's like, she's absolutely fine with everything. She's healthy. She doesn't need anything. So it's like, well, what do you do there? So she just sort of, she is more of a balance over time dog.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not able to do that with Bolt, but Molly, I'm so lucky with.
Yeah.
She's got really poor teeth, bless her, but she'll still chomp away on a chicken wing.
Aww.
And she's honestly, she loves her dark meat, so she's a bit of a bougie dog. So she will prefer things like kangaroo and like really rich dark meat.
God.
But give
Little
her
Miss
veg,
Expensive.
she will, she will literally just nose it out of the bowl. But then you got like Luna. I mean, she's a Frenchie. She's allergic to her.
Told you so. I always said, Anna, do not get a French bulldog, and you went and got one.
Yeah, I don't. But she's I mean, I'm being helped by someone really fantastic at the minute. And she's really, really responding so well. I mean, when she first came here, you know, bald head and, you know, alopecia everywhere, and she's just absolutely thriving now. So fingers crossed, soon enough she's actually one of the only dogs. I used to hear it in the shop. My dog's allergic to this, that, and the other, and I used to think,
is it?
You know, because you know, like we hear it so often, the difference between allergies and intolerances, and you have to explain that to the person. Then I get this dog that is actually allergic to chicken.
I used to say like, my mum's Frenchies were as bad, and I used to say they're allergic to life. Oh. They're just allergic to life. But what you just actually said, and I think that's a good thing to touch on as well, even as people who've, whatever you want to call it, qualified, studied in nutrition, we still go to other nutritionists and other people in the know who know a completely different thing from what we've learned, because you all learn from each other. Like,
absolutely.
There's
and we can't know it all.
No, we can't know it all. And I would absolutely recommend other people if I didn't think I could deal with something. Or and I think that's important. Everyone has their place. Do you know?
Absolutely.
So obviously people then, I think, get confused looking at different nutritionists and thinking, why is this one saying this and this one saying that? And I say, listen to everyone and you decide who you want to go with, who you think suits your dog and your lifestyle better. Because everyone's
like the
different.
Books and the courses, isn't it, as well? It's like you learn something from it, but you take what you need from it.
You take what you need from it, 100%, because they're all different as well, and they're all these courses conflict each other, and so
I mean, wasn't there there was a certain raw feeding course that was out, I think, was it last year? And it was actually produced by a veterinary nurse. And it was so bad that someone actually had to ask for their money back.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad, really bad. It kind of put me off doing it.
Oh, I don't know what that one was. Oh, obviously, we won't. No names mentioned.
I'm not going to name and shame. I'll tell you after.
I don't know what that was. Oh, there's some amazing ones out there, and there is some, and there's no course is a bad course in that. If you can gain some knowledge from it, do it.
Yeah,
just do
absolutely.
it. I don't think I'll ever stop learning, ever.
No,
I don't
No.
want to.
No, what's the saying? Every day's a school day, and you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Every day. It's the same with the courses. We're forever learning. Science is ever evolving as well, which is one thing that I absolutely dislike. You've got someone who's been raw feeding for 30 years. Oh, well, it's been okay for 30 years. I've been raw feeding. Yes, but science has evolved. We now know more.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
about keeping up with
because
that
people would
science.
just feed raw meaty bones and that was it if nobody evolved.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I know some people do. And their dogs, obviously, it's like the argument of, well, my dog's had this for years and they've been fine. And it's like, yes, but there's a difference between the whole surviving and thriving thing again.
Thriving, yep, absolutely.
But nobody's going to do everything perfectly. It's all guesswork. It's like if you go and see a nutritionist, it's a best guess of will it work, will it won't. It's not medicine.
No.
Nobody's qualified in that. Obviously you get some amazing vets who are also nutritionists, which
yes.
And Snow, my dog, has terrible zinc deficiency at the moment caused by stress after surgery, and it's actually improving, but we're on the verge of going to see an amazing holistic vet who's also a nutritionist, very well known. It still might happen, but I feel like I've used all my resources. I'm doing everything I should and everything I know I can do, but I feel like that, and again, another nutritionist has helped me, Kat, with all the energetic stuff. And
oh, she's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's a part of and it's a part of things that I didn't really have that much knowledge about. So it was good because I knew I was kind of on the right path. But sometimes I think I need a little bit of medical intervention. And if you can find someone who can do both things, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen quite a few vets over the years because obviously we're a multi-pet household. I feel like I've got about 1,000 pets, but
you do
because I've got my ferrets, which are all raw fed as well. So I am just now actually at the one place that deal with exotics as well, and I tell you what, they don't agree with everything that I say, but they always listen.
Yeah.
And I love that. I really, really love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah, I do. It's like seeing it's like seeing a GP, isn't it? Like one of my GPs is amazing. The other one, I don't like her very much because I just know she's rolling her eyes every time I start talking, and I'm like, oh, I don't like you.
Oh, don't.
But it's going to be the same thing. So, one thing I did want to ask, which I think is good, is about give some shout out to some brands that we like. So, for example,
yes.
actually, the first one I'm going to do is hold on to your pearls, everyone. It's actually a kibble. It's actually a kibble brand because Aquila whole prey saved Nico when he was not eating. He just would not touch anything, and they've been very supportive as well, and they're really lovely people. So I will give a shout out to Aquila, and I would say if you feed something in the generic pets at home area and you're looking to up to something probably a bit better that's got nicer ingredients in it, I could not recommend that enough, if that's the route that you are currently down. So do you want to shout out what are your brands? What are your go-to brands?
Oh, my go-to brands. It has to be because I use so much of it. I'm sure I actually pay their mortgages. The Dog's Butcher.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Yes. Just, I mean, ferrets imprints from very, very young. So they're stuck on the Dog's Butcher. It's the only thing they can eat. But the range is just absolutely fantastic.
I think I would say, right, what we'll do, we're going to do our top 3 brands last each. Okay. I say top 3. I'll have to say top 3 because it's hard to pick one. But so I'd say budget brand, staple brands first. So for me, Daff.
Daff, yes.
1000%.
Daff.
Reggie's. Daff and Reggie's are my two probably lower cost brands that are just...
Do you say Southcliffe as well?
Southcliffe, It's weird. I always forget about Southcliffe because it just feels like Daff to me. Like it just feels the same when I'm opening it, and the packaging's similar. So definitely they're three.
Yeah.
What about you for lower?
I'm actually the same.
Yeah.
They are my go-tos. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love them. Do you know one brand that I'm going to save that for my top 3. Controversial. Controversial because it's never in anyone's top 3, so I'll save that.
Okay.
Any other brands that you'd say just generically in the mix that you like?
You know what, Dougie's.
Interesting.
Dougie's. The convenience of it, it's just because I'm a really bad raw-fed mum. I forget every night. I've got
you can always rely on Dougie's to defrost.
Whack a couple of cubes out, boom, I'm done.
Yeah.
They're absolutely brilliant. And I also like their free flow as well.
Yeah,
they've got
I really like
10 free flow.
Daff's free flow is really nice. Their new free flow. Really, really nice.
Haven't tried that yet.
Yeah.
Are we moving on or to the top?
I can't. Top. So the reason why I made that noise is my first top 3 is Dougie's. Oh my God. I have loved Dougie's since day one. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like the dogs love it. I just love it so much. And it's really weird whenever I sort of push it to people. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I just love it. I just feel like it's fail safe. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's just so easy. I think I like it as well because I never have a day when the dogs have that I feel like they need a boneless mince after because it's too much bone for them, or I just some brands have got 10% bone in, but they can't tolerate the bone, especially Indian Snow. There's brands at 10%, but guaranteed they've got crumbly poos the next day. Dougie's is just so consistent for me personally,
and it's so lovely and fluffy as well.
Yeah, it's just nice. Dog's Butcher. That's top Butcher. 3.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing. Also, because they're back as a NutriWorlds.
Oh, of course, NutriWorlds. I'm yet to try NutriWorlds.
It's the same as it was. Hasn't changed. I know some people think it has. Packaging's changed, but the quality of everything, I'm really happy with it, and I just think it's amazing. And I just feel like I'm gonna have to squeeze another fourth in here. But I feel like when I'm feeding,
don't, because I was gonna
when I'm feeding a NutriWorlds Complete, even if I sort of am being lazy and not adding anything into it, I feel like I can rest easy that they've had a really good meal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I will say paleo as well is the completes that I feel the same thing. Oh, and natural raw.
Oh no, don't.
That's a thing. But they don't actually. We don't really buy that much. We buy the forage mix on its own.
Yeah.
But we don't really buy the mix together.
No, I think natural raw is my top. That is my favourite.
Yeah.
I just love absolutely everything about it, from the ethos of the company, the recycling, the fact that
it's beautiful
plants
branding.
make the ink. I'm just the consistency of the meat. I absolutely love it. Don't buy much of the forage, but Bolt and Molly actually go wild for it. They love it, and I just love everything about the company.
Yeah.
And also the customer services. Oh, it's amazing. And then I'm gonna have to actually say paleo. For so long, what did I call it? Paleo Ridge. Yeah,
paleo.
Now I call it paleo.
Paleo. Oh, who knows?
Yeah, I love I absolutely love them, especially the budget range. I like that. I really do. I mean, there have been quite a few times when I've had to buy that And then obviously the dog's butcher.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, oh, Betsy's.
Betsy's.
How can we not forget Betsy's?
Betsy. Oh, for God's sake, this has just gone completely off. There's no top 3. Oh, do you know what? A mid, I just completely ignored my mid-ranges there, but I do really like Naked Dog Pure Range.
Yes.
Pro Dog's Pure Range.
I haven't had Pro Dog. Well, not me, obviously. But I haven't. No, Bolt hasn't had it for a long time. So I think Mersey Raw. Bolt
Mersey,
really
nice.
enjoyed. Yeah,
forgot that
it's
as
just
well.
I don't know why.
My dogs used to be a brand ambassador for Mersey, and I've completely forgotten Mersey. Sorry, I love Mersey Raw. And you guys use my pictures all the time, so sorry.
Oh, don't. I tell you one, you know what? This is me. This is not the dogs. I absolutely love the smell of Cotswolds.
Do you know what? I think it doesn't get enough recognition.
No, it does not.
Because I feel
really
like
doesn't.
it is expensive. It is expensive, and there are some. I don't know. It is. I suppose if you look at the ingredients, it is a little bit generic, but the quality of the ingredients. I've never opened a Cotswolds and thought, ugh. Do you know what I mean? Like everything's
do you know what?
consistently
No,
good.
I open it and I'll have a good old sniff. Honestly, the smell, it's so fragrant. I love it. I absolutely, it smells fresh. It's nice. Not that I'm eating it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, can we say where we buy? Because I'm, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna. I mean, my out and outright favourites are Poochie Park.
Poochie
just
is the best.
Their range is just
Helena is
it's
amazing.
Best.
I would urge anyone who's starting to raw feed to go to Poochie Park because Helena not only sells, in my opinion, probably the best range of raw that you can find online.
Oh yeah,
but
without a doubt.
She doesn't put herself out there as this, but she's a qualified nutritionist. She knows her stuff, and she can help you from A to Z with food, nutrition, like anything. And I think that's what you want. It's unpopular opinion time, but I think all raw shops should, step up the game, and everyone should have some sort of knowledge and a little bit of a qualification in nutrition. And I think Helena is the poster child for how you should be.
No, she is. I will give my manager, though, a massive shout out because I stalked her for my job. I stalked them so hard they actually had to make a position for me. But she, honestly, she's another one as well. Like the whole reason I went to work for her was to learn from her, and she is, Lynn Thompson. She's just
shout
out
out
of
the
this
shop.
world as
shout
well.
out the shop's name.
Oh, Paul's Naturally. It's in Chislehurst. Nationwide delivery.
Obviously, you got Steph's Pet Pantry as well. Amazing.
Oh yeah. And Lavender's as well.
Lavender, I absolutely love as well.
Yeah. I haven't ordered from there before. I really should.
Trusty Pet Supplies is very good. Really, I like Trusty. It depends. I feel like it depends what you're looking for as well. For me, I'll order from Poochie Park because I know it has everything that I need. Sometimes if I'm doing a top up, I like to go elsewhere because I want to support everybody. Do you know what I mean?
See, I feel like I'm cheating on Paul's Naturally or Poochie Park if I shop elsewhere.
No, I always I have to say it elsewhere, but it's mainly Lavender or Trusty. But I have to say it's just what anyone has in stock at that time. If I go to Lavender and they don't have something, then I'll go to Trusty and they've got it in stock. So I'll just end up doing an order with them if I'm looking for something specific. So it just depends. But in general, obviously, Poochie girl.
Yeah, I do love a bit of Poochie. I just love Helena, I'm not going to lie.
I'd love somebody to listen to this who had no idea about dog food, raw, whatever. They'd be like, Poochie, what are you talking about?
Oh, don't, honestly. The great thing about Helena is, can I just say, you know what? You'll pay all these nutritionists all this amount of money and whatnot. Helena gives advice for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
No.
really sorry. I should have said that. But she doesn't take money. She just wants to help.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, there are some really amazing people, and I know, like, we ranted, but for the most part, they're amazing people in this industry.
Oh yeah,
they really are. It's just our frustration more is with the confusion that people face, and the feeling bad that people face. That's the thing I don't like.
It's the thing we want to change. We want to open people's minds.
Yeah.
And have them not feel one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. We've had some good engagement around that, though. People like saying, you know, I feed kibble because that's what I can feed. And then so many people add fresh to kibble now. It's amazing. And that's a massive
It is
step.
Amazing.
Really massive
I think there does need to be a bit more education on it, though, in terms of how far do we take it before the kibble then becomes, before the meal in general becomes unbalanced again.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we do need to,
because you can add too much.
Tap into.
You can add too much of a good thing. You can add way too much of a good thing. You know, like I see people feeding eggs every single day. Like you don't need to feed an egg every single day. Fish, you know.
Yeah, you don't.
The amount of fish that people feed or underfeed, and it's like it's a balance, and you don't have to give it every single day, and it's a difficult one.
Even down to bone broth. I mean, that's preference, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? Sometimes I'm really good, and we'll just shout out to Rowena, the bone broth queen here, who's like ridiculous with her bone broth making. But like I'll make batches of bone broth and then half the time I forget to freeze most of it. So I'm like, for God's sake, it's been over a week now. I've got to bin this.
Yeah, you got to bin it.
Yeah, and then I'll go for like weeks and weeks of giving it every day, every other day, being really good. And then I'll be like, oh, it's 3 weeks since I've made a batch of bone broth. Oops. That's why the freeze-dried ones are good, I think, because...
Yeah, they really are.
Just to have it on emergency if you've forgotten to.
Yeah, my favourite one at the moment is Axel's.
Yep.
Right. I absolutely adore them, and you know really what? Good. It's really nice just to have them frozen and feed them like a little lollipop or something.
Also, can I just say, I absolutely love their account and their whole thing, and it's like the little pirates and
the pirate. Every time I tag them, it's got to be the pirate theme. Yeah,
it's so cute. I loved it.
I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Their engagement as well and customer service, once again, absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, I think and well, we'll talk about that another time, definitely. I think it's something we need to touch on, like brands and how they do and don't necessarily do things well. Not make the food, just there's certain things that I think could definitely improve. But there's some brands like Axel's that are just amazing.
Out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell they really care and they really want to chat to their customers.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's another one as well that I'm seeing it's being used quite a lot, and I'm desperate to get my hands on it because I've always got a frozen bottle of, goat's milk for when one of the dogs have got the trots or something. The powdered goat milk by Fettle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just looks so easy just to store away. It's another great
I've actually
one.
got some products coming from them that I'm trying, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, you'll have to show us.
Yeah. So, plans for the future. Obviously, today's been a little bit ad hoc, just ranty and get to know us and don't know what else really. But we actually have plans, and all these in the future will be planned. We just wanted to get a chatty one out the way. But we've got lots of plans with hopefully brands that are coming on.
Exciting.
So that'll be exciting. We've got lots of things in the pipeline that shall remain a secret for now.
Yes.
But we're hoping, by the end of this year, or the end of summer, we'll be up and running with a few things going on. So that'll be very exciting.
That is very exciting.
Also, we're going to get our friends on because that's always fun. They've all got their own experiences with things. So we really want to get them on, don't we?
But yeah, 100%. I think everyone's got a story to tell.
Everyone has, and a journey.
Everyone has.
Everyone's on their own. And that's the thing, everyone's on their own journey. Nobody can judge anyone. Nobody can tell anyone they're doing things wrong, because I don't think anyone is really. They're just doing the best that they can and the best that they know.
Yeah. And we're learning along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. God, I'm sure as some people saw my bowl, someone, and I get up and I'm just like, oh, just have this lump of frozen meat. I can't be bothered this morning. And then I come home from work and I'm panicking like, oh my God, I've got to put all these supplements and all this fresh food in your food because I just threw meat in your bowl this morning.
You see the state of some of my bowls? They're horrific.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, we've been sharing all these bowls that we think look amazing, but actually it's that they look amazing because of the ingredients in it, not necessarily because they're visually amazing, even though they are.
Yeah.
It's about what people are trying and what they're adding to the bowls to make it a good bowl. That's the interesting thing.
Because that's another thing to touch on, just the whole... I remember some woman coming into the shop, bless her heart, and she said, do you have to add strawberries? Do you have to do this? It doesn't look right. And I was like, no, it's just for Instagram. It's the whole Instagram versus reality.
Oh, God.
Completely different.
I just think just look at everything you're putting in the bowl. It doesn't matter if no one else is using it. Like, when I don't ever see anyone with mushed up broccoli and mashed up spinach, which is how my dogs get things sometimes, or you know, sprouts, and you just if it's not aesthetically pleasing, don't worry about it. Just research why you're putting it in. And you know, if somebody's putting strawberry in the bowl, you read what the negatives and the positives of strawberries are. If you think that that's not going to benefit your dog, just don't put it in the bowl.
Don't put it in.
They're not missing out.
Although I've got to give a shout out to some of those bowls that, oh my gosh, they literally look like a Michelin.
I know.
Chef is they are stunning.
If I had one dog, I feel like I would do it. I would really do it just to like make myself happy. Because remember, your dogs actually don't give a shit. But I think, although I will argue that I think it's nice to have a little separate thing of bone broth, a little separate thing of, you know, that's a bit of enrichment. That's actually quite nice for the dogs, probably, as well as looking nice. But
it is, yeah.
I wish it was me, but it ain't.
No, I can't. I just can't. I really can't. I used to try.
If I do a bowl and everything's all like, because I do bowls on my own Instagram page, but not my own, my dog's own. But I'll show things that aren't mixed in, sort of sitting on top of the food.
Yeah.
But I mix it all in after. I'm more doing it to show what I'm putting in the bowl rather than it looking aesthetically pleasing. Because I think sometimes that's helpful, that you can see what people are using.
What's going in, yeah.
I do think when they're looking like some piece of like Picasso art, it's quite scary. Actually, I'd say more my bowls are Picasso. The other ones are more like, I don't know. Who's a really like neat artist? I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Do you not remember that rabbit that I tried to create? Frankenstein. Oh my gosh. I think it had one of the most most likes, and it was the comments underneath it.
Nice try, Anna.
Most posts. I honestly thought I was winning when I sent that picture.
Did the dogs eat it? Did they care? Yeah.
I do not know what went through my head.
No, it's fine. I don't know sometimes.
I don't. We'll have to share that so people know what we're on about.
Yeah, you have to share that one.
I don't. Oh, right.
Right, okay. So I think we'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening.
Right. Thank you all.
Bye. While we share our personal views and experiences with canine health and nutrition, it's important to note our podcast is not a substitute for professional veterinary advice. If you have any concerns or questions about your dog's health or well-being, we strongly recommend seeking guidance from a qualified vet. Every dog is unique and individual circumstances may require specific attention. Our podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Please do not take any information from our podcast as one-to-one nutritional advice. Thanks for tuning in.